Hello friends, welcome back to Liz's Reading Corner, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Liz and I like books, and today we are doing vlog number 2, or week 2 I guess you could say, of my 31 books in 31 days. I have read 3 books so far, so I kind of need to read a little bit more to catch up and not be panicking right at the end. So I've gone through all of the books that I have, or that I'd put into that first video, my announcement video, and I've picked out basically all of the books that are under 300 pages and made a little pile of them. There were a few that just kind of didn't make sense to add into this video because they were more like children's books, and I didn't want to have this crazy mishmash of books in this video. So I have, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I have 6 books that I'm going to try and read this week, which will bring me up a bit closer. So when we get to day 14, I should be at around 12 books if I get all of these read. I may read more or less, I guess, obviously is also a potential. But I'm going to start with Orpheus 9 by Chris Flynn. This one is an Australian author, I believe, and this one is set in Australia, so that's going to be nice and interesting also, because I've noticed sometimes the authors, I don't want to say misrepresent, but they don't necessarily have accurate depictions of Australian life. So we'll see how this one goes. I've read a few Australian authors and I tend to just not really enjoy them. Maybe I've just found the wrong authors, but yeah, I tend to just not enjoy their books because, like anywhere else in the world, it's very different. Like how you live is very different. It's very personal, obviously, but depending on the state and exactly where you live, like whether you live in a city or a town or in the outback, your life is going to be very different. And so I think when people read Australian fiction or fiction set in Australia, they have this expectation of like what life is going to be about, and it's not ever necessarily an accurate depiction of life in Australia. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully it's good. It seems really interesting. So I'm going to go and get this one started, and I will be back very shortly for you, but probably tonight for me, with some thoughts on this one. My arm is already getting tired. Okay, so I've just had, when my hair decides to behave itself, I've just had a shower. So my hair is wet and just so more moisturized and nice and clean. It is getting really gross. We've had like 30, 31, 32 degree days already. It's only spring and I don't like the heat or the humidity. But yeah, 30, 31 degree days. It's disgusting. The Queensland sun, everyone laughs at me when I say this, but the Queensland sun is so hot. It burns. So the UV is usually between 10 and 12 in the warmer months. I think it sits between, like, I could be completely wrong, but I think it's between like 5 and 10 in winter. But it is usually really high in the warmer months, and so you can sort of feel the difference. Like there's a feeling, Queenslanders will understand, where it goes from very obviously winter to summer sun, basically, because it just gets disgustingly hot and you feel like you're being roasted in the sun because it just hurts, even with sunscreen on. So because of that, I just feel gross during the day, or during the night before I go to bed. I have to have a shower because I feel gross. I can't do it. But you guys are not here to talk about the weather, so I have a small update for you. I have finished 2 books in 2 days? 3 days. 3 days, it's the 10th. I finished Orpheus 9 by Chris Flynn. This is an Australian book. It is written by an Australian author. I think he was not born here though. Immigrated from maybe Ireland, I want to say. But an Australian author. The problem is, so actually I should probably tell you what this book is about. One random Saturday, every 9-year-old have to make sure. Yes, it's on the back. I have to make sure I wasn't doing spoilers. One random Saturday, every 9-year-old in the world dies. They randomly start singing and they die. And every day that happens, and the world obviously turns to chaos, because that's what happens when people die. Lots and lots of people die. And there's not really anything that can be done about it. The only issue, so like this book was fine. It was okay, I guess. It was not terribly interesting. Everyone was saying that it was horrifying and it's spine-chilling, and I didn't find it spine-chilling or horrifying. It was... I just have to fix my arm. My arm's getting sore. It was fine. Not amazing. Not terrible. It was fine. It was an interesting concept. Certainly not anything I had ever read before. So points for uniqueness, but there was just a lot of just filler, really. So the first chapter was fine, and then it kind of just became all filler. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know even what could have made this better, but it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was just meh. But the one criticism I have is that, so I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in Australia we have our, what do they call them? I can't remember what the auxiliary firefighters, they're the ones that like go in the big red branded trucks. They work for like Queensland Fire, Victoria Fire, the State Fire. But then we also have Country Fire, and they are typically the ones that you see in the yellow uniforms fighting the bushfires. So in Victoria and I think New South Wales, I don't know about any of the other states, it's called CFS, so Country Fire Service or something like that. In Queensland, which is where this book is set, because it's set in Gatton, and that's just like, I think 2 hours from here or something like that. It's called the CFS, but in Queensland it's not called the CFS, it's called the Rural Fire Service, so RFS, or Rural Fire. And it's because my family's rural, they do rural fire stuff. And so that was my only complaint, is that it's not CFS. If you're setting a book in Queensland, use the right terms. It's a little bit annoying. So yeah, my only, aside from the fact that it's just a book full of filler, use your right terms. And I have also finished William who was this by? Mason Coyle. This again was essentially there is these two, I don't even know, these two technology people, and that sounds amazing. I swear I read this book. So there is 2 people. It is Henry and Lily, and they both work in the tech industry. And so Lily has this company that she's just sold and made like a lot of money off of, and Henry works in like AI basically, and he has created essentially a living doll named William, and William is threatening harm to the family basically. Lily is pregnant, and Henry has agoraphobia essentially, and yeah, William is threatening their entire existence. Lily has some friends over, and everything turns into like horror movie madness. I didn't hate it, but I did find it really boring. It felt like it took forever to get through this. I only started this yesterday. It's like 200 and something pages, 213 pages. Let me double check that. I swear it's 213. It is 213 pages, and it took me 2 days to read this. And again, it was okay. It was not amazing. It was not boring, but I didn't find it amazingly interesting. So I also gave this one 3 stars. And then I am going to start. I always get this one mixed up because of the way the title is. Woodworm. Woodworm. Because it looks like it should be Wormwood. That's not right. So Woodworm by Leila Martinez. So I'm going to go and read this, and I will be back with you shortly with an update. Probably less chatty than what this one is, because I've just been talking for 10 minutes and holding my phone up in my armpits. So I'm going to go, and you will see updates very soon. Okay. Hopefully the fan doesn't make too much noise. We're getting a storm also, so you may hear that. I'm so excited. I love storms. Storms are like the greatest thing about summer. We've had like 30, I think 31, 32 degrees, which for October is atrocious. Like, we should not be getting, that's winter. Wish it was winter. That's summer temperatures, or like early summer temperatures, and we've been getting them in what is meant to be our spring, so that's been awful. We even tried out, we got a new air conditioner installed last week or the week before, recently, and we got to try it out today because it was so hot and humid. It was disgusting. The heat is not the problem, it's the humidity. That's what I always complain about how hot it is, but it's not really the heat, it's the humidity, because we regularly, like, once it starts getting hot, it's like usually, I don't know, 70% or higher. So when we get into summer, it's usually like 80% or higher, so it's just, it sucks. I hate the heat. But anyway, I keep talking about the weather. You guys are not here for the weather, you're here for books. But I am excited for the storms. We're about to get another storm. We're between storms, but we're getting another storm, and I'm so excited for that. It makes for perfect reading weather, so that's amazing. I have finished. Oh, I say so much. I'm sorry if that annoys anyone. I say so much. I need to, like, gather my thoughts, and it's my way of gathering my thoughts, and I say it a lot. Anyway, it could be worse, I guess. I have finished reading, what was this one? Woodworm. This was really boring. It took me so much longer than I thought it would to read, because it's such a short book. Like, it's, I think, just over 200 pages. Let me double check that. I'm sure it's just over 200 pages. 213 pages. There's the thunder. Not even. Oh my god, that's even worse. It's 124. It's 124 pages, and it took me 2 days to read this. 3 days to read this. That should have been my sign when I was just really not interested in it yesterday, to just DNF it, and I didn't. I pushed through because I was trying really, really hard not to DNF any books, and it was just so uninteresting. So we follow, there is, I don't even remember their names. I don't think we get their names. Maybe we don't get their names. There is this house that is occupied by a woman and her granddaughter. The woman, she says she's visited by the angels, and she sees visions of things, so like people's futures and things that are going to happen to them, or things that have happened to them, and their house is haunted by ghosts. And it's this whole, so everything is like it's a stream of conscious book for a start, but everything is very back and forth. It's very choppy, and it was really, honestly, a struggle. It's meant to be, I believe, like a commentary on how women have experienced life in the past, and just how little autonomy they had, and how if they went outside of the boundaries of society, they were really, really treated horribly. But this was just so uninteresting, and I feel bad, because I've seen a few reviews who have really, really liked it, and it was not for me. I should have DNF'd it. I regret not DNFing it, so I'm probably just going to give this one 1 star. I don't know that I'll pick anything up again from this author, but I've tried it, right? And then I picked up this afternoon Idle Grounds by, who is this, Christelle Bamford, and almost immediately DNF'd it. This one is also very, very uninteresting. It just did not, I tried like 2 or 3 chapters, and it's not for me. So I am just going to DNF. I have more than enough books to cover 31 books in 31 days, so I'm just not going to waste time on reading books I'm not interested in. That's been my thing for this year, just not reading books I'm not interested in, and so I'm going to continue doing that. So I have quite a few books I can choose from. I am starting... Who was it that I saw that read this? I literally just watched their video tonight. The Reading Nymph, maybe? Or was it? I don't remember who it was. Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. So I have started this one. I'm only very, very short way. Sorry, my arm's getting tired. I'm only a very short way into this one, so I've picked this one up. I was considering maybe just doing like try a chapter or something like that. Nothing But Blackened Teeth. Oh no, not Nothing But, yeah, Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Core. This, I think... Oh, what was the book that she wrote? Salt. That was very loud clap of thunder. Hopefully that means the storm's getting closer, because then I get to go to sleep to a storm, and that would make me happy. I can't for the life of me remember what the other book was of hers that she wrote. And that's not in there. There was another book of hers that I have read that I really, really, really enjoyed. I'll look it up and mention it in the wrap up, because that's going to annoy me now. But I have this one as well. I have Smother Moss by Elisa Allering. Oh, I've butchered that name. And I also have, oh my gosh, when I can pick them up, 2 more books that I'm pretty sure, well, one, Strange Houses by Uketsu. I read Strange Pictures and loved Strange Pictures, so I have Strange Houses that I can try. And I have A Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson that I can also try. So I have quite a few books. I have 2 days and I've read 3 books in 5 days, which is not terrible. Like, that would usually not be terrible, but they're all very, very short books. So it should have been a book a day, and that has not happened. So I think I might try a chapter of each of these and see which one really gets my attention, or which ones really get my attention, and then I'll read those over the next couple of days, and then I will do a wrap up. So I might do an update tomorrow. I'm going to surprise my husband with scones. He's got to go into the office. I hate it when he works in the office, but he's going into the office tomorrow and Tuesday. And so I am going to, he will have seen this. He will know before he's watched this video, sorry, but I'm going to surprise him with some scones. So, and maybe some caramel mud cake cupcakes. He loves caramel mud cake, that's his favourite. So I'm going to bake those tomorrow. You might see a clip of it, if I remember to. I'm so bad with B-roll. I try really, really hard to like organize B-roll, and then I do things and then I forget to record them, or then I get anxiety, I guess, and I'm like, no one's going to want to see that. So, even though people usually love B-roll, but yeah, so the anxiety kicks in and then I just don't put it in. So anyway, I'm going to go stop talking and read some books, because that's the point of this challenge, and I will be back shortly. You'll either see B-roll or you won't. You'll know very, very shortly. So I have not gotten through as many as I wanted, but that's fine. The world is not ending. It is the 14th today, so that means that we are at the end of week 2 of my 31 books in 31 days. And I had wanted to get through a lot more books this week than I did. We just had a lot on. I just didn't read as much as I wanted to, and just everything kind of culminated in me just not reading as much. But that's fine, because I've still got through, I think, 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4 books. So I've read 4 books and I DNF'd one. So where are we going to go? Where are we going to start? I think I'll go through them in order, because I think that's going to make more sense. So first I read Orpheus 9 by Chris Flynn. There is a helicopter really, really low. I am so sorry. We're in the path of like the rescue helicopters, and sometimes they are so low the house shakes. We'll try that again. So I read Orpheus 9 by Chris Flynn. This is an Australian book. This is set in Australia. It's actually set in Queensland. In, gosh, what is the town? Gatton. So Gatton is like west of Brisbane. It's like a bush town, or I've never been there, but it seems like it's a bush town just looking at it on the map. And one random Saturday, all of the 9-year-olds in the world stop what they're doing, start singing this really creepy song, and they die. And so basically the rest of the book is just, I would say, them trying to figure out how to stop it from happening, which is kind of part of the story, but it is really just like the devolvement of society. So it is also about how certain very wealthy members of this town try to spin the devolvement of society to benefit them. And there is also like an anarchist group. I don't want to say anarchist group, but they are essentially an anarchist group. So after the first chapter, for me, the rest of the book was just filler, and I was really, really disappointed because I thought it would absolutely hook me in, and it did not. So I gave this one 1 star. Then I read William by Mason Coyle. This one follows Henry and Lily. Henry is our main character. Lily is his wife. And they're both tech people, so they both work in the tech industry, but in different specializations. Lily had a startup company that she sold, so she is very wealthy, or she seems to be very wealthy. Henry, I don't remember if it says that he's specifically working, but he has essentially agoraphobia, and he can't leave the house, but he has a lab that they have built at the top of his house, at the top of their house, so like in the attic, I would say. And in his lab, he is building toys, but toys that also incorporate AI. And it's essentially AI gone wrong. I think that's the best way to describe this book, is that it is AI gone wrong. The twist was very interesting. It was not a terrible book. I quite enjoyed it, but I don't know, this one also, for such a short book, because this one's only, gosh, how many pages was this one? 213, yeah. So this one's only 213 pages, but it still felt a little bit like it was just too long. Like it felt like there was a lot of filler in here. Even though some of it was important to the story, it still just felt a bit too long. And so there could have been things taken out that would have, I think, made the book better. Or if it was written in a slightly different way, I think it would have made this book a lot better. So I gave this one 2 stars. And I feel really harsh because I've rated everything really, really low in this vlog. Next, I read Woodworm by Leila Martinez. This one follows 2 women, a mother and her granddaughter. They are both adult age. And this one is kind of like an intergenerational curse. So the grandmother's parents built the house, and her father goes missing, I think, a year after the house is built. And he was essentially a pimp, and the mother, I think, was meant to work for one of like the really rich families in their town, but she didn't like them. And so the grandmother's mother was jealous of the grandmother because the grandmother has abilities that the mother didn't have, that the mother wanted, and it just has become this like intergenerational curse, right down to the granddaughter. And the thing is that this house is kind of like, it's kind of haunted. There's not really much you can say without giving away the story, which makes this one really hard to talk about or like to explain. I might read the blurb, that might work better. So, it was built by a small-time hustler as a means of controlling his wife, and even after so many years, their daughter and her granddaughter can't leave. They may be witches, or they may just be angry, but when the mysterious disappearance of a boy draws unwanted attention, the two isolated women, already subjects of public scorn, combine forces with the spirits that haunt them in the pursuit of something that resembles justice. This is a debut novel, apparently, and it is written in stream of consciousness, so if you don't enjoy stream of consciousness, I would probably avoid this book. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't find it very interesting at all, even though they claim to be witches, and some of the stuff that they do, I guess, would be considered like witchcraft by today's standards. It just was not really exciting to me. It was not very interesting. So I gave this one 2 stars. Then I picked up Idle Grounds by Christelle Bamford. I don't know if it was just like the wrong time for me, but I read I think 3 chapters of this and I DNF'd it. It was just not interesting in the slightest to me. You're meant to be following a group of children who are just kind of like left to their own devices, and one of them goes missing, and the rest of the children have to figure out what happened to the missing child and try and get them back. And it was not even the slightest bit interesting to me. So like I said, I don't know if it was because I just finished reading Woodworm that was upside down. Woodworm, that this one wasn't interesting to me. But yeah, I just ended up DNFing this one. And lastly, I read Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This one, like I said, I can't remember whose YouTube channel I saw this on. If you are watching this and you have read this and you have a YouTube channel, it is very likely you, especially if we follow each other. But I'm sorry that I forgot that it was you. This one follows the biologist. I don't think they even say her name because everyone is just put down to what they do for a living and not their actual names. I think they strip their names from them. Yeah, so it's just their names. So there is this mysterious area X, and for years there has been a lot of speculation as to why people cannot go in there. The government, or I'm assuming it was the government, has sent in, yeah it is, so the government has been sending expeditions into there, and in the book they're up to the 12th expedition, or the 12th iteration of the expeditions, and this woman who is the biologist, we are basically following from her point of view as her and 3 other women go into this area X and sort of just like catalog, or they're meant to be cataloging like what happens to them and just like the things that they find. And the problem is previous expeditions have not ended very well. So some people have come back and just didn't even know that they weren't expected to come back. They'd been missing and they just randomly show up at their own homes one day. One expedition, I believe, ends in people unaliving themselves, and another one ends in people unaliving everybody else. So none of the expeditions really have gone very well. This is the first book in a trilogy, and while it is very short, I found this one also about 100 pages too long. It's only 193 pages, this one, so it's not even as long as Woodworm, and or as most of it. I think it's the shortest one of the lot that I've read, but it just dragged on. Like the end was just so boring and very, very repetitive. And so I found myself about 130 pages in, 140 pages in maybe, losing interest in this one completely. There is, like I said, 2 more books because this is the first book in a trilogy, and I just honestly have no interest in finishing this one, or in finishing the, so I finished the book, in finishing the trilogy. So it's going to end here for me for this trilogy, and I gave this book 2 stars as well. So those are the books that I read. It was not a great reading week for me, obviously. We didn't get above 2 stars, but that's just how it goes sometimes. It is what it is. Fingers crossed that next week is better than this week, because I'm going to be sad if there's another just week of 2 stars or less. Have you read any of these books? What were your thoughts on them? Do you have any book suggestions? Do you have anything that you think I would enjoy reading? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you for sticking with me for this long, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.